Good evening. On a blustery night, you're settled by the fire, book in hand, when suddenly a tiny, leathery acrobat flits through your living room. A bat. It's a living piece of the wild night, turning calm into chaos, and reminding us that the world outside is still mysterious and strange. This video was suggested by Linda. Thank you, Linda. What is it about bats that sends a shiver down our spine? For millennia, we've feared the night, and bats, masters of darkness, thrive where we feel most vulnerable. Their odd appearance and silent, unpredictable flight trigger our deepest, most primal alarms. Bats are creatures of the in-between, familiar yet fantastically strange. Our fear is an ancient response to their mystery. This brings us to the very heart of our little investigation tonight. We have established that bats give us the creeps. The sudden flutter in the dark, the strange little faces, the silent leathery wings. It all cooks up a rather potent brew of fear. But here is the crucial question, the one that hangs in the air like a bat suspended from a rafter. Should we be afraid? Is this deep-seated fear a sensible survival instinct? A wise whisper from our ancestors warning us of a genuine threat? Or is it perhaps one of history's greatest misunderstandings, a case of mistaken identity on a global scale? For every tangible reason to be wary, there seems to be a mountain of myth and misinformation piled on top. We have been telling spooky stories about bats for as long as we have been telling stories. They are the companions of witches, the shape-shifting form of vampires, the harbingers of doom and disease. They have been cast as the villains in our folklore, our literature and our films for centuries. From the blood-sucking Count Dracula to the swarming terrors of 100 horror movies, bats have rarely been given the role of the hero. They are, culturally speaking, typecast as the creepy sidekick. Think about it. We fear them because they are associated with disease, particularly rabies. And while it is true that bats, like any mammal, can carry rabies, the reality is dramatically less terrifying than the legend. We fear they will fly into our hair, a strangely specific and persistent old wives' tale with absolutely no basis in fact. A bat's echolocation is so precise it can detect a mosquito in total darkness. Your head, by comparison, is the size of a planet. It is not going to blunder into your hairdo by accident. These stories, these myths, have shaped our perception far more than any real-life encounter. So, as we proceed, we must act as detectives of our own fears. We need to gently peel back the layers of spooky stories and cinematic screams to see what lies beneath. What is the truth about these creatures of the night? Are they the disease-ridden, bloodthirsty monsters of our imagination? Or are they something else entirely? Perhaps they are shy, intelligent and ecologically vital animals that have been unfairly maligned. This essay is a journey into the shadows to find out. We will confront the vampire legends, untangle the myths and come face to face with the real bat. Prepare yourself. It might not be as scary as you think. A bat's sudden visit can turn a cozy evening into chaos. Why? Because bats defy our mental categories, furry mammals that fly with skin wings, zigging unpredictably through our homes. Their erratic movement and uncanny appearance unsettle us, triggering a deep instinctual fear. The bat is a living paradox, challenging our sense of order in the animal world. Bats are marvels of evolution, but their faces, full of wrinkles, folds and strange nose leaves, aren't cute by our standards. Their hand-like wings only add to the strangeness. Unlike birds, a bat's wing is a stretched, spindly hand, unsettling yet fascinating. It's a masterpiece of nature that looks to us like a monster. Darkness has always been our oldest enemy. For most of human history, night meant vulnerability, unseen dangers lurking beyond the campfire's glow. The bat, master of the night, thrives where we stumble. Its silhouette against the moon is a symbol of mystery and fear, a reminder of our ancient dread of the dark. Beyond their spooky reputation, bats are often feared for carrying disease, especially rabies. But the reality is less than 1% of wild bats are infected. Most human cases come from handling sick bats. The golden rule, never touch a wild bat with bare hands. Healthy bats avoid people, and the real risk is far smaller than the headlines suggest. Throughout history, bats have been cast as symbols of darkness and death in Western folklore, their nocturnal habits fueling fear and suspicion. Yet in China, bats represent luck and happiness, their names sounding like the word for fortune. Whether seen as omens or blessings, bats have always played a powerful role in our stories and imaginations. For centuries, bats were just spooky background creatures. But in 1897, Bram Stoker's Dracula changed everything. He fused old vampire legends with tales of real vampire bats, making bats the face of horror. Suddenly, bats became Dracula's alter ego, symbols of fear, disease, and the unknown. Stoker didn't invent our fear of bats, but he perfected it. If Bram Stoker wrote the script for the bat's villainy, then Hollywood built the stage and lit it for all the world to see. The 20th century saw the rise of cinema, and this new, powerful medium found a perfect monster in the vampire and its winged familiar. The 1931 film Dracula, starring the mesmerizing Bela Lugosi, brought Stoker's vision to life. The sight of a crudely animated, string-pulled bat transforming into the cape-swirling Count became an iconic piece of horror cinema. For millions of people, this was their first and most lasting impression of a bat, a prelude to terror, the silent herald of an approaching monster. As film technology advanced, so too did the depiction of bats as a menace. The singular, symbolic bat of the early horror films gave way to a new kind of terror, the swarm. In countless B-movies and eventually blockbuster horror films, bats became a mindless, shrieking plague. They were depicted as a chaotic, airborne horde descending from their caves to attack hapless explorers, campers, or townsfolk. This portrayal tapped into a different but equally potent fear. The fear of being overwhelmed, of being consumed by a faceless, unstoppable force of nature. The individual bat might be spooky, but 1,000 of them became a living, breathing nightmare. These films often took grotesque liberties with bat biology for the sake of a good scare. They showed bats as being aggressive and territorial, dive-bombing humans without provocation. They were often depicted as enormous, with leathery wingspans the size of a man, and screeching with an audible, ear-splitting fury. The quiet, shy, and delicate reality of the animal was thrown out the window in favor of a more thrilling and entirely fictional monster. From The Devil Bat, released in 1940, to more modern creature features, Hollywood has consistently reinforced the idea that bats are, at best, creepy and, at worst, murderous swarms of flying death. This cinematic onslaught has had a profound and lasting effect on our collective psyche. We have seen bats attack people in movies so many times that we instinctively feel it must be true, even if we've never seen it happen in real life. The image of a shrieking, chaotic cloud of bats is burned into our cultural memory. It's a powerful visual trope that screenwriters and directors return to again and again because it works. It reliably triggers fear and disgust. The film industry, in its quest for thrills, has become one of the most effective anti-bat propaganda machines in history, ensuring that each new generation learns to fear the flutter of leathery wings. Urban legends and old wives' tales keep our fear of bats alive, especially the myth that bats want to fly into your hair. This oddly specific fear conjures frantic images, but it's complete nonsense. The myth may have started when tall, scented hairstyles attracted insects, and bats hunting them. These stories stick, making bats seem scary and best avoided, even when the truth is far less dramatic. Despite the overwhelming weight of negative press from myths and movies, the bat's symbolic power is not entirely one-sided. In the modern era, a new and altogether different figure has emerged from the shadows to reclaim the bat as a symbol of something else entirely: justice. I'm speaking, of course, of the Batman. Created in 1939, just as the cinematic Dracula was terrifying audiences, this comic book hero took the very thing that frightened him as a child, a bat, and turned it into a symbol to strike fear into the hearts of criminals. It was a brilliant inversion of the established narrative. The Batman mythos embraces all the things that make bats unsettling and reframes them as strengths. The association with darkness? Batman is a creature of the night, using the shadows as his ally. The frightening appearance? His costume, with its pointed ears and scalloped cape, is designed to evoke a terrifying, bat-like creature. The mystery and stealth? These are his greatest weapons in his war on crime. For the first time in popular culture, the bat became a symbol not of villainy, but of a dark, brooding and complex form of heroism. It suggested that one could harness fear and use it for a noble purpose. This heroic counter-narrative, however, does not entirely erase the fear, it complicates it. Batman is not a cheerful, sunny hero. He is grim, intimidating and operates outside the law. His symbol is meant to be scary. So while he reclaims the bat for the side of good, he does so by reinforcing its power to frighten. The message is not bats are not scary, but rather the scary thing can be on our side. This has created a fascinating cultural duality. The bat is now both the monster in the horror film and the hero in the comic book. Its symbolic meaning split right down the middle, depending on the context. Ultimately, the bat's journey through our stories reveals more about us than it does about the animal itself. We have projected our deepest fears onto its leathery wings, our fear of the dark, of death, of disease, and of the unknown. We have also, in moments of creative inspiration, projected our hopes for a protector who can master that darkness. The bat in our imagination is a canvas, and we have painted it with the darkest blacks and, occasionally, with the gleaming gold of a hero's emblem. This rich, contradictory tapestry of stories is the true reason the bat holds such a powerful grip on our minds, far more than its simple biological self ever could. We've spent ages fearing bats, casting them as villains in our nightmares, but it's time to meet the real bat, one of nature's most diverse and fascinating mammals. With over 1,400 species, bats come in all shapes and sizes, from the tiny bumblebee bat to the giant flying fox. They're not monsters, but gentle marvels, each unique, vital, and far more wondrous than fiction ever imagined. Let's bust some bat myths. Bats aren't blind, many see as well as cats, and even the smallest bats use their eyes to navigate. They're not rodents, but belong to their own order, Chiroptera, closer to horses than mice. And no, bats don't want your hair. Their echolocation is so precise they easily avoid you, usually just chasing a mosquito. Bats aren't blind. Their true superpower is echolocation, a way of seeing with sound, not light. They emit high-frequency clicks, which bounce off objects and return as echoes. Their brains build a detailed 3D map of the world, letting them hunt insects and navigate in total darkness. Bats thrive in the night, not because they're blind, but because they see with sound. Bats are the unsung heroes of the night, performing vital roles in ecosystems worldwide. They devour vast numbers of insects, saving farmers billions and reducing the need for pesticides. In the tropics, bats pollinate hundreds of plant species, including the agave plant. Without bats, there would be no tequila. Fruit-eating bats disperse seeds, helping regenerate forests and maintain biodiversity. Far from being harbingers of doom, bats are nature's pest controllers, pollinators and gardeners. The next time you see a bat, remember, they're working the night shift to keep our world in balance. Let's address the infamous vampire bat. Out of over 1,400 bat species, only 3 feed on blood, all in Central and South America. They don't suck blood. They make a tiny incision and lap up a small amount, usually from livestock, not humans. Vampire bats are highly social, sharing food and caring for each other in their colonies. The myth is monstrous, but the reality is a fascinating tiny animal with unique adaptations. Understanding the real vampire bat helps us separate fact from fiction. Bats are marvels of nature, not monsters of legend. As cities expand, bats often become our quiet neighbours, nesting in attics and eaves. They don't damage homes or chew wires, they simply seek safe places to raise their young. Having bats nearby means fewer mosquitoes and pests, nature's pest control free of charge. In many areas, bats are protected by law. Disturbing them is illegal, especially during breeding. If you find bats in your home, don't panic. Contact local wildlife experts for guidance. Living with bats can be a unique opportunity to witness nature up close. With understanding, bats become valued neighbours, not unwelcome intruders. Despite their importance, bats face grave threats: habitat loss, pesticides and deadly diseases like white nose syndrome. This fungal disease has decimated bat populations, especially in North America. Human activities, deforestation, building renovations and wind turbines further endanger them. Bats are essential for pest control, pollination and seed dispersal. Conserving bats means protecting the services they provide and the balance of our ecosystems. It's time to become their allies, not their adversaries. Our fear of bats is rooted in myth, but the truth is far more inspiring. Education and empathy can shift our perspective from fear to fascination. By understanding bats' vulnerability, we can take responsibility for their survival. Simple actions like installing bat boxes can make a difference. Coexisting with bats is a test of our maturity and willingness to embrace the wild. The question remains, can we trade fear for wonder and help secure a future for these remarkable creatures? In the quiet library, we reflect on bats, creatures long misunderstood. Not monsters, but marvels, pollinators, gardeners, and insect eaters. Our fears are misplaced. Bats deserve our respect and protection too. The real threat is losing them forever, leaving our skies empty and silent. So, what now? Our little journey through the darkness is at an end. It is one thing to sit here in a comfortable chair and agree that bats have been given a raw deal. It is quite another to change the habit of a lifetime, to quell that little instinctive leap of the heart when a shadow flits past in the gloom. But I will leave you with a challenge, a small dare to take with you out into the world. The next time you find yourself out of doors, as the sun bleeds away and the day gives way to night, I want you to stop for a moment. Look up and wait, watch for them. Sooner or later you will see one, a tiny jagged silhouette cutting across the deep purple of the twilight. Do not duck, do not flinch, instead try to see it for what it is. See the marvel of a mammal in flight. See the master of echolocation, painting a picture of the world with sound. Think of the hundreds of mosquitoes it might eat before the night is over. Think of the tequila plants it might be pollinating somewhere far away. See not a monster, but a small, furry miracle, a testament to the sheer, beautiful strangeness of life on Earth. It is a simple act, but a powerful one. This change in perspective is how we begin to repay our debt to the bat. It is how we transform fear into fascination, and fascination into action. It is how we become advocates for bat boxes instead of advocates for exterminators. It is how we support the conservationists working tirelessly to combat the diseases that threaten to wipe them out. It all begins with that one simple choice, to look at a bat not with fear, but with a newfound sense of wonder and a healthy dose of respect for its nightly work. It is a choice to see the hero, not the horror. So go on, I dare you, become a friend to the night's most misunderstood marvel. Champion the cause of the creature of the dark. You may find, to your surprise, that the world feels a little richer, a little more magical, when you know that the sky above is filled with such extraordinary and unfairly judged little beasts. The night is not empty and terrifying. It is full of life, full of wonders and full of bats. And that, I can assure you, is a very good thing indeed. Now it's time for a shout-out from tester, evaluator and Grand Pop at WiseHooterLearning to our friends Tim, John, Paul, Richard, Mary and of course Frank. Now do be careful on your way out, the floorboards are still rather rickety. Good night.
Thank you for watching a WiseHooterLearning video. If you would like a shout-out at the end of a future video, please have your first name emailed to WiseHooterLearning@yahoo.com.